Guys, what people struggle with the most is truly understanding that everyone has some level of consistency, even if it's consistently not in the good place. What I mean by that is you might be consistently stuck. You might be consistently making bad habits because as humans, we are truly designed to be consistent. We love structure, right? We actually thrive off structure. But if you are living in chaos, in other words, you sleep whenever, you wake up whenever, you maybe go to the gym, maybe you don't go to the gym, maybe you kind of like rush around, maybe you have so much going on in your life that it just feels like it's everywhere. You're consistently in chaos. Now, the person who is structured is consistently understanding that they have structure, which means they have predictability. So you might have some level of thrive, right? You actually thrive off chaos, but you call it that, you have maybe like a, I don't know, confidence chaos, or maybe you do better when things are chaotic. However, that's not really the case because it never gives you an opportunity to slow down. And I share that with you because I think it's so important for people to understand the value of structure. So, in other words, creating a routine, like have a morning routine, have a night routine, have some level of routine that can set you up for your day. And that setup for the day should really help you to get a little bit of predictability of what that day is going to look like, how you're going to tackle some of the tasks that you have. And then at the end of the day, have some level of reflection where you can look back at the day and just ask yourself, did I do everything I wanted to do? Did I hit the tasks that I wanted to hit? Did I go the places I wanted to go? Did I do the things I wanted to do? Like hit that level of reflection so that you can actually look back and go, I was set up for success. I was successful. And maybe you missed a couple of things, but you'll add them into the next day. It doesn't take that much to be intentional. We just choose not to be. And so if you're trying to then be a bit more structured, after you have your morning routine, your night routine, you have some routines in place, then you can add to them. Because the power of adding to these routines is like you can just really, really make it all about you. You can customize it. And your approach should be your approach, all right? It's not someone else's routine because they're not living your life. You have to create the routine that's going to be right for you. And a lot of the time, that's like, when are you going to get your gym work in or your fitness in? When are you going to do the training? When are you going to actually meal prep? When are you going to actually have some time for yourself? Like creating this, it doesn't have to be mass amounts. Sometimes we just need a little bit to go a long way. And as you do this, you're going to feel substantially better. A lot of the time, people honestly just thrive off so much chaos that they then create so much unpredictability. And then when they land at this specific result that they have and they're not happy, a lot of the time it's because they actually led to it. So if you constantly had an unstructured day to day, you can bet that what that's going to land you at is probably a pretty unstructured body, an unstructured mind, and then you're constantly fighting against yourself. So the negative self-talk starts to set in. The outcome that you have right now isn't really what you want. The only way to change that is to change how you are. And this can be a game changer for you. And I really want to encourage you guys to really do something different. That might be something small, like taking that first step to creating a routine, which might just be your wake up time. Whatever it is that you're doing now, if it's not working, do something different. Because it's when you do something different that you can truly make some pretty massive shifts. You can make some major changes. And if you do it long enough and you're consistent long enough, then you'll lead it down to a path where looking back, you're going to be like, whoa, like how did this all change for me? Well, I just kind of like did this step by step. And this is where patience comes into it. This is where discipline comes into it. So a lot of people talk about it, but you can ingrain that into your character. And what I mean by that is that, a lot of the time people aren't just created as a disciplined person. They don't just have this natural resilience that was like they were born with. They had to develop it over the course of time. So for me, I really thrived off challenges. I liked challenges because even if I failed, I would do something differently to then try to become successful at it the next time. So I learned off every single setback because it wasn't really a setback for me. For me, it was more like a setup. It was a setup for a new level. It was a setup for a new opportunity. It was really something that I could then push myself into and actually do better with it. And so I want to encourage you guys to really look at this as if where could you do better? Like if you were to step back and write down your entire day from the moment you woke up to everything that you did and how that all flowed for you, where do you think you could improve? And what would you do differently if you made one tiny little tweak to that? And then you started doing that every day so that your next action leads to a different outcome. That's truly where most people suffer. That's truly where most people fail. And so I'm going to give this to you in a very short manner because I think what most people need is more action and less chaos, right? And they need to be taking intentional action. There's a big difference between taking action and intentional action. If it's intentional, you might be actually doing something very different for a very different reason. Anyone can just mass them out there, a bunch of things that are really going to lead them nowhere. And be very, very mindful who you listen to. Be very, very mindful with what you are putting into your mind and really focus hard on actually inputting the best stuff to make you the best version of yourself. And so create your routines. That's the biggest thing that you have to take away from this, to create the routines so that you can really create a better life. When you do this, everything changes, right? Just remember, guys, that everything you want is on the other side of fear. So make a move, take action, because you're one decision away from a completely different life.